Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to another Grayscale Gorilla live show. I want to set the energy. Hold on. Let me try that again. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another Grayscale Gorilla live show. It's gray day here in the Midwest, so I'm going to get my NPR voice on. Chad, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. It's gray, it's cold, and I'm not fully caffeinated.
All right. Well, let's get something straight here. Today, we're going to be talking about campfire recipes. Um, this is what happens when you live in the Midwest and it's gray and 5 degrees straight for weeks at a time. You kind of lose your mind a little bit, guys. I'm just going to be honest with you a little bit. Uh, so, one, I'm getting excited to get the heck out of here. I'm doing a little road trip here in the next week or so, heading out to see the sun. I'm excited to get the heck out. And Chad, what do you got going on? How have you been?
Man, this time of year is just like it's the worst. It's the worst. The holidays are over and you're just waiting for it to get warm. And it's been like unseasonably cold here. So we're talking like single digits. And it's super isolating. And so I'm looking forward to some 30-degree weather to possibly like walk outside and maybe see humans. But yeah,
Hey,
it is what it is.
speaking of humans, let's bring the chat in here. I'm gonna throw the chat. Thank you all, as always, for joining us for these live shows, wherever you're coming in from, whether it's YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook. Wanted to also thank Rachel for being here, moderating and being a part of the chat, helping us out. Thank you so much. And I want to fill you in also, speaking of community, what the hell we're talking about today. So today's all about the 3D community and the benefits of being around your peers, the benefits of being around other people who do what you do or want to do for a living. So we're gonna share a few stories about some of the ways that being around other artists have helped us in our career. We want to hear from you guys. We're going to do some Q&A and hear from you guys out there as well. And all of this is to celebrate the launch of our new Discord over at Grayscale Gorilla that we'll be talking about throughout the video as well. By the way, it is open. If you're just hearing about our Discord, it is open and easy to join. So we're going to be talking about how to do that and also talk about why we moved from Slack to Discord. And again, talk about the benefits of, even if it's cold and you're inside and you're feeling a little isolated and a little gray, why it might be good to go into whatever community you can get your hands on and start to meet some other people. Rachel, thank you so much for linking up the Discord there. And as always, we got people telling us where they're from. We love seeing this. Texas is here. -9 degrees yesterday in Green Bay, I'm assuming. F that, y'all. That's cold.
Yeah.
All right. It's not
That's
quite
rough.
Canadian cold, but that's about as close as you get in the States. San Francisco, thoughts and prayers for Chad and Nick's weather. You know what, Scott? Enjoy the weather out there. San Francisco is beautiful. Indianapolis.
Cuba. Wow.
Hey, Aaron.
Warm
Good
there,
to
I
see you,
bet.
man. Aaron, I got your email. I got to get back to you. Thank you, bud. From Milford, Michigan. Good to see you. -9-degree days. Brian from Chicago's here. Transylvania's here. Latvia's here. Go worldwide, folks. That's very cool. Do us a favor too, if you're watching on YouTube, hit that this button, this thing, and that helps us. Honestly, it helps the YouTube algorithm wake up a little bit and tell other people that we're on live. So, they're all watching. What are people watching on YouTube these days? They're watching yard sales. They're watching, fail videos. Go click this thumbs up thing, so it wakes YouTube up to tell those people, like, hey, your fail videos will be there later. Come hang out with us, right? Today's all about community. Help us out.
Yep.
Remington Hills. Look at that. Mash the like and subscribe. Thank you. Dave, cheers, man. Good to see you.
Dave?
I'll be, speaking of Dave, thanks for the reminder. I'll be on the mograph.com show on Monday with Dave and Matt. Very excited for that. Maybe Rachel could put a link up there. So if you like hanging out on the YouTubes, look for a live show Monday, and I'll be on with the MoGraph.com crew. Excited for that. Toronto, Canada. -32, man. See, that's the shit.
That's
I don't
like
know.
humans aren't meant to live in that weather. Like that's not human. That's not like we shouldn't be there.
Dude.
We shouldn't even be here, honestly. We should just be living below at the equator.
Should we meet up in Texas? Coming your way, Dave. You got a guest room?
What is the temperature in Texas? Is it in the winter? Is it like 50s or is it like colder?
I mean, I don't think it gets that.
Doesn't get this cold,
maybe.
right?
No. Well, a couple winters ago, they had the craziness.
The snowstorms.
We surf in that weather. Y'all crazy. Okay, Rachel, there you go. Thank you for linking that up. MoGraph.com stream. All right, so what are we talking about today? You know what? We have a ton of new members on the YouTube channel and new members at Plus. And I always forget, we've been around a long time, and it's always hard to remember that there's new people watching all the time. And so if you're new here, and your friends maybe told you about Grayscale Gorilla, and you're like, why did the algorithm tell me to watch these ding dongs? What's going on? We are Grayscale Gorilla. We created Grayscale Gorilla because 3D artists have a hard time making beautiful renders with their clients yelling at them and with looming deadlines and with lower and lower budgets. And we set out to create the highest quality materials, assets, plugins, things that you need as a 3D artist that help you get your job done faster, more beautiful, so that you can get your time back a little bit. Maybe do more projects, maybe pet the dog, maybe go on a damn walk, maybe get the hell outside, even if it's gray. So that's what we do here at Grayscale Gorilla. If you're new here, thank you so much for joining the show. We answer your questions. We talk about the 3D industry in general, talk about how to not only do this stuff for a living, but how to do it with a little bit more thought of a process, and with a little bit more thought in a holistic way of having a job, doing what you love, making money doing it, and also having time to go home and play with the dog and kiss the babies. So thank you guys so much for coming. Dave says we always have room at his place. You better be careful, Dave. Better be careful.
I'll be there next week.
So first of all, let's talk about the Discord. We have had a Slack channel. And by the way, right after this, I want to get right into some Q&A. So because today we're going to be talking about how to meet people that if you're in a town, maybe you don't have a local meetup, you don't have a physical way to meet people in your industry, how to meet and connect with other artists. So we'll be taking those questions. We also want to hear the places in your career where meeting somebody made the whole difference in your career. I remember my first jobs were because I went to the meetups. Getting better as a 3D artist was because of being able to sit next to people like Chad in Chicago. So we're going to be talking about this holistically, and all of it is around our new Discord as well, which is really, well, you know what, Chad, will you fill us all in with the new Discord, why we set it up, and how it's been going in the last week or so?
Yeah, so we have had a customer Slack for a really long time. I want to say it's been maybe almost 4 years, maybe, since we started that. And it grew and grew and grew until I think we topped out almost 5,000 people in there or something like that. And if anybody knows Slack, they know that Slack is a really great tool for office communication, for running jobs and talking as a group in a studio or something like that. But it is really pretty terrible at managing a community of that size, because when you get to that size, you kind of quickly hit this wall of what Slack can do for that community. There's very little moderation. If you do the paid version, I mean, gosh, I can't even imagine what it would be if we paid for every member with 5,000 people. Yeah, we would go broke.
I
But
think it's
anyway,
like $10 a person per month or $5 a person per
oh
month.
my God, what is the math on that? That's like ridiculous.
Which
Anyway,
yeah, go ahead.
so we've been eyeballing Discord for a while, and in fact, I think we talked about going there maybe a year ago or something. And it was kind of like, well, it's kind of a big thing to do, and maybe it's not the right time. And I don't think they had threaded messages at the time. And we were kind of like, nah, let's just wait. And now we're kind of like, Plus has become so popular, and so many people are joining that it just became really hard to manage it on Slack. And we just thought like, well, this is a great opportunity to take this community of people and bring them into a place that is like way better. It's a better place to run a community like that. It gives us the opportunity to do some really fun stuff like live events, clubhouse style chats. Moderation is just like through the roof. And if you're already on the Discord, then you may have already seen the Gorilla bot hanging around in there, yelling at people for using all caps or something. But it's just going to give us a lot more stuff to play with our members, and just with everybody in the 3D community. But I think mostly what I'm excited about it is probably that ability to potentially stream a little bit more. So one of the things that is, when we're here doing these types of streams, it's kind of a production. We have Rachel moderating, we have to set up all this stuff, and not that we're gonna not do that again ever, but it's in Discord, it's a little bit more like what's the word I'm looking for? We can be a little bit more loose with it. Like if I have
like
an idea,
casual.
yeah, exactly. So if somebody asks me a question and I happen to have 20 minutes or so, I might hop on there and like, oh yeah, here's how you do this thing, and stream my screen and all that. So there's just a lot more opportunity for stuff like that. And yeah, I think it's also, the kids love the Discord, the kids out there. Yeah.
The TikTok channel will be here any minute. Is that right, Chad? You're we're going all in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wherever the kids go, that's,
dude, I'm
that's where
so
we gotta go.
addicted to TikTok. It's like scary.
No, that's a great setup for the discussion today. And Chad said it best, when you have a small group, Slack worked really well. Even when there was 1,000 people and day to day, there were hundreds in there asking questions and you could thread it. Now that there's so many thousands of people using Plus and asking questions and trying to build their own community, Slack we just scaled past it. And so Discord's gives us a lot more tools to kind of manage and organize and help you guys find each other, ask good questions, and really build a community around everybody, because it's frankly unscalable for one or two people to try to answer questions and point people in the right direction. What Discord helps us do, it helps you guys do too, is answer each other's questions, point people in the right direction. When somebody has a question about something that has already been answered, we can hopefully send them to the thread where we talk about it. Those kind of things can happen over in Discord, and it was just really tough to do in Slack. So if you're listening to this and you're interested in 3D, and more importantly, if you actually are a professional in 3D and have maybe missed that connection, that bumping into another designer, having a conversation about a cool animation that came out yesterday and not really having a place to do that, the Discord is also that. So we'll talk a little bit about that today. Some of the fun stuff about working around other people that a lot of us don't have these days. I think there's endless benefits in working from home, and there's endless benefits in distributed working. Look, Grayscale Gorilla has been virtual company since 2015, I think. Every time I say that, I don't remember the actual date. I just got to go find the damn date, so I stop guessing. But there's obviously huge benefits in working from home or from a small office. and not having to go commute in and do all this stuff. But there is a connection that being in the room with a bunch of creative people, being in the room with somebody to bounce an idea off of, that that I personally do miss when it's just me in my office or in my room. So the Discord can be a part of that. And not just our Discord, anywhere you find community, whether that's at a local meetup or in even in a channel like this where you guys are talking and discussing things, finding those moments where you can connect with another artist, ask a question, and maybe learn something new, or be randomly finding something new because somebody else posted it, is just a part of this creative world that we hope that the Discord solves a bit as well. So so yeah, I guess that's the setup for today and discussing some of these things. Let me take a look at our messages here in our chat. Hey Sean, good to see you, man. TikTok's funny.
Sean,
I feel like I get 50% of what TikTok is with all these other ripoff platforms, because half the videos I see on like YouTube Shorts just end in TikTok anyway.
Wait, are you not on? You're not on?
No, I already put too many hours on my phone, so I just know that I'll watch too much TikTok. So I'm just trying to protect me from myself at this point.
That's probably safe, dude, because I think since I put it on my phone, that's probably the thing that's like destroying. Like I look at, how the iPhone will like, oh, your screen time increased, 20%. Let me make you feel guilty about that for a second. And ever since I put that app on there, I'm like, oh my God, it's going up and up. I gotta stop this.
It's bad.
It's bad. It's so funny.
Jim says hi from Detroit. Good to see you. I'm in Michigan as well. Hope you're doing well. Also, someone's asking, where's your Discord? Rachel just posted it here. Let me put it up on the screen. And there it is. So we obviously have places in the Discord for Plus members to connect and learn from each other and talk about new collections and material packs and HDRIs and plugins and all that stuff. There's also, if you are if you work in the industry and you're also kind of just interested in looking at the community, being a part of it, there's also spaces for you in there as well. So please go check it out. Bring your questions. Be prepared to be a part of, lurking is fine, but not for long. Like be a part of the community after you join and come see what it's all about. So there's a link to the Discord. It's a little heads up too for anybody who is on the Slack. We will be we basically have already moved off of the Slack. It's still there if there's some last minute conversations happening, but we will be transferring fully to the Slack here relatively shortly. So it's a little bit of a warning too if you're over on the Slack. Get ready to move over. There's go sign up on the Discord and we'll see you in there. All right, do I connect my Discord with the Plus account? Good question. Jonas says, do I connect my Discord with the Plus account? Chad, can you let people know what they need to do if they're a Plus member and they join the Discord?
Yeah. So first thing you want to do is head over. It should take you right to the rules. So it's important that you understand like our code of conduct and whatnot on the Discord. And then from there, you'll want to head over to the roles channel and pick your roles. And by picking a role, that's going to also add a nice little icon next to your profile name there. And if you're a Plus member, you can just click on the Plus member role, and it'll put a nice little plus next to your name in your profile. And you'll have access to Plus member only channels.
Lovely. Jonas, thank you. Thanks for being a Plus member. See you in the Discord. Something Chad mentioned, but I wanted to reiterate too, is we plan on having things like this in the Discord. It's really kind of low friction for us to say like, hey, let's hit in the Discord and just have a little hangout. There's some really nice tools in there to do some audio. I think we could do video too, but the audio stuff's so easy to just fire up, say, hey, what's everybody up to? Maybe answer a question, maybe talk about a latest release from Grayscale Gorilla, or even industry news if something happens. Just have a place there to do kind of like an audio hangout, but right in our Discord. So look forward to that stuff. I'm looking forward to that stuff for sure. Hope to see you guys in there. All right, let's see here. I think we have a few questions here. We have my setup's MacBook Pro 13-inch Parsec Warp and a custom PC. Oh, he's answering the other question. Yeah, so that's similar to my setup as well. I use a Mac kind of day to day, and then I Parsec into my Puget machine, and that's when I get the power. That's when I start cranking some Octane in there. All right, so I thought it might be a good time to talk about, no matter where you're working and where you are in your career, the power of other artists and meeting other people, no matter if it's digital, in person, at an event, and just mention a few of the things that I probably wouldn't be who I am as a designer. I wouldn't be at the point of my career. I wouldn't be many things without the accidental bumping into and discussing and talking about things that were interesting to me, either at a local meetup, at work in an office, or also online in places like early in my career, there was a forum. Remember forums, Chet? Am I dating myself?
Ooh.
Yeah, I remember forums. There's one called, I think it was mograph.net. You remember that one? It was
Yep.
it was a kind of a Cinema 4D centric place. But man, they had that's where I met Monkey back in the day. And met quite a few people through mograph.net before I met them in person at places like SIGGRAPH and at NAB. And so what was the benefit of doing that? I'm going to talk about some in-person stuff, but since we're talking about the Discord, I thought, thinking through why did I spend time hanging out there? Well, number one, it was full of people actually doing what I wanted to do for a living. Mograph.net was full of, sure, hobbyists for sure. People just getting started. That was me. But man, it was also full of people at places like Buck and people working in the industry that were willing to share the answers to some questions and help the next generation of artists out. And even, point artists in the right direction, or just simply, try to jog someone's memory, like how do you do this effect? And so I went to mograph.net all the time to first of all ask questions and get really good responses, sometimes snarky, but that's okay. That comes with the territory. We're all a little bit snarky artists at times. But then I also went, once I actually knew some things, I actually went to mograph.net to answer questions and frankly take some of the burden off of somebody that worked at Buck. They should not be answering the 50th how do cloners work questions. So I actually went there as somebody still new, but I knew the basics and answered some of the noob questions to free up some of the time of other people in the forum. And so there was this beautiful, 50 comment thread thing happening over at mograph.net. And depending on your skill level, you can come in and help somebody brand new. Somebody higher end could come in and really give the perfect answer to, maybe a piece of software question or even more important, a design question. And it just became this really beautiful place until it didn't. Mograph.net, RIP, mograph.net. But I'm saying all this because without knowing that place existed, I would have been lost. I would have been somebody just trying to learn, Cinema 4D, before YouTube was invented through DVDs or just by poking around or reading the damn manual. So places like that really helped out. I have some other stories about meeting people in person and the importance of a community. But Chad, did you have an early community when you were, getting started in the industry that that helped, steer your career?
I spent a little time on mograph.net, but then I spent most of my time on CG Talk, which was like a huge 3D forum that had like every 3D program known to man on there. I was on there quite a bit, just like mostly hanging out in the V-Ray channels back in the day. But yeah, that was kind of where I spent most of my time. And then, of course, like more specific software forums, to get support and stuff like that. But being in Chicago, there was already a pretty great community of artists and people working in either motion design or post or effects or wherever. And there was always some industry event happening, whether it was like AICP or some sort of advertising event. But yeah, it was like the forums. I do kind of miss the forums because it was so nice to like have like a fully threaded like list of a question, and then you could like see the answer and you could search, and you can do a lot of that stuff now. But it's so like real time that the responses aren't as thought out as they were back in the forum days, where people would like really take the time to like step one, do this, then try this. And now it's like bah, 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 it goes so fast that you just like, you gotta create those threads, otherwise they just like disappear into the ether. But yeah, CG Talk was kind of the place that I was at most.
Yeah, that I remember that one. They're still around too. CG Talk. Somebody mentioned a couple other ones up here as well. Back in the days when that was the only place to learn. Oh, I'm sorry. My Midwest accent is confusing the word Chad and chat. Sorry,
It
Chad.
happens.
We gotta change your name. You know what?
That's
No,
totally fine.
we're gonna change the chat's name.
I never
Uh,
liked my name, so that's totally fine. I'm down.
Hey, Fried Pixels. What? Good to see you. Cheers, bud.
Hey, what's up, man?
Miss you. Good to see you out in the LA. So hey, I mean, speaking of being a part of the community, like going out to an event out in LA and bumping into and seeing not only faces I haven't seen in a long time, but a lot of the people I met were people online that I just have never met in person. Maybe talked to them on Twitter or in a chat like this, and then all of a sudden we're in a park in Burbank and we get to all hang out. So while I know that it we're still moving into a COVID safe world where we can start to be more in person. I do think that being in person is still a major part of the connections in our industry. Maybe I'm biased because I've just been to so many of these events, but I've also heard so many stories, not just people who go to all these shows, but people who maybe just started going to shows that say, "Man, I wish I did this earlier. I wish I took time out of my week to fly out to this event, go to something like SeaGraph, go to the LA event, go to Half Res, go to Camp MoGraph." Every story you hear after these events, the Vegas party coming up at NAB, um, is, "Man, I wish I did that earlier." And there just really isn't a super easy replacement, even though there's Zoom calls and there's Slack channels and there's Discords. Being in person and just like being able to look at somebody and shake their hand or give them an elbow bump or whatever, there's just something completely different. Um, I don't know if you have any stories about that, chat. I know I have hundreds of them, and I'm also looking at the chat to also see what you guys have learned by bumping into artists either digitally or physically. Chad, what do you have a story about that kind of and
I don't.
how it helped your career?
God, when I kind of started in 3D, there just wasn't a lot of resources. So every year I would just like look forward to going to SIGGRAPH as a way to like connect with other 3D artists from across the world in one cool location and just nerd out on 3D for a solid week. And it was like it recharges you. It just like you come back with a whole new like you're just inspired. You want to come back and start making stuff or think about things differently, or keep in touch with that person that you met at that party, or whatever. But I can't think of any event that I've been to that I've been like, oh, I wish I hadn't gone to this event. Like even if it's like the event itself is kind of like meh, just meeting people, hanging out, grabbing a drink, and maybe hooking up with somebody you've never like met before that you've always like seen on a forum, and that thing now where like I feel like this is like kind of a funny thing that happens to us now, where we kind of know each other by our profile names and our profile pictures. So you'll run into somebody and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I'm such and such," and I'm like, describe your profile Like, what's your icon look like? Oh, I'm this, I'm that gradient with the ball and the thing over. Oh yeah, I know you. Hey, what's up? And that's just such a weird thing. But anyway, that's a tangent. Yeah. I definitely think that events are a great way to recharge, and it just really, really has been hard this last couple of years with COVID, because it's how I like to get my creative juices going, is like talking to other people and like going to a place and drinking bourbon and just like arguing about something and just getting into it. Like, it's really hard to do that. Even virtually, it's really hard to get that connection.
Yeah, it is hard. It is somewhat easier, I find, even after you've made the physical connection, to then be on a call with them, or to then be on a hangout or in the Discord with somebody who you met. You carry that physical connection way past the physical connection, I find. And that's with so many relationships in throughout my career, and having had the drink with them, or had the long conversation with them, that does carry through next time you're on a Zoom call or a Discord. So it goes beyond, I guess what I'm saying is just the interaction, the one-off interaction.
Yeah.
So like James coming in this chat here, and me putting him up on the screen is like, okay, well, I saw him out in LA, and I that was like, I think the first time we met, even though I've known his work for years and years and years. It's just a completely different connection.
Yeah.
So you know, um, I put this up here because, gosh, it's so tough to think about somebody starting in this career during the pandemic. So Jonas put this up. It says started 3D during the pandemic. So unfortunately, never been to any occasion. So
Hmm.
that's so first of all, I think this is a popular story. The the pandemic allowed a lot of people to say, like, man, I've always wanted hours and hours of extra time to just go learn a new thing, right? And for a lot of us, they're like, I finally got it. I'm locked at home. We all had different ways to connect with our work if we had it, but we also were like, well, now's the time. I could go dig into a training library. I could go watch YouTube tutorials, and a lot of us out there have learned during the pandemic, but not had that ability to go meet people. So while I'll always encourage you, once it's safe and once you're ready, to go to these events, it is why we're excited about the Grayscale Gorilla Discord, is to start to be a part of the community before you get to the event. And maybe they will ask you that question, like, what is your icon? And Jonas, in your case, if you used your actual name, maybe they'll know your name next time you show up at the event. So I'll encourage anybody to always try to take a break from the actual in Cinema 4D, in 3D, to start the connections, start the community, especially if you're new to this, especially if you want to do this for a living. You might meet somebody that hires you. You may meet somebody that you will start to work with. You may meet somebody that knows somebody that wants to hire you. Like, the connections go in infinite ways, but it never will start if you don't start yourself. Be at the you guys being at this live show is already a big first step. The ability to take a break from whatever you were doing, come join us, talk with us, communicate. This is already the first big step in this. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, awesome. Yeah, Jonas, thanks for sharing that. Adam, what's up, man? Good to see you. Adam took Mike Winkleman to a party. That's always fun, by the way. Partying with Mike.
You can't not do that if you're with Mike.
What a guy. Yeah, somebody was asking, yeah, are you talking about a Grayscale Discord? Yes, we are. Please come join, especially if you're a Plus member. We have places for you to meet each other directly right within there. And if you've been looking at Plus and just trying to join a community of people who actually do this for a living and want to learn how to work faster, learn how to get clients, learn how to, even do things like write a bid and some of the business side of what we're doing. That's what we're doing inside of our Discord. So please come join us. I'm sure Rachel will post a link here. Look for a link. And I think actually Google did a good job. If you search Grayscale Gorilla Discord, I think it shows up as well.
Nice.
All right, let's see here. Richard says, started going to meetups in 2014, made so many connections and contracts thanks to those good times. Yeah, same. Going, I was lucky enough to be in Chicago as well. And Chicago had some meetups. And they were even small, very small at the time. The Cinema 4D meetup had 10 people in it. My first one I went to. 10 people at I think it was Columbia College. And it grew over those years into something like Half Res that has hundreds of people that show up. So even if there's 5, 10 people, go communicate, meet those people, and you could watch your own community grow, even if there's just a few people in your town. I live in a small-ish town outside of Detroit, and I've already met up people within 10-mile radius of where I am that are 3D artists, illustrators. A few of them are here in this chat right now. So get out there, meet them. Rachel, thank you for the link. Adam, that's great. Susie. Oh, hey, all right. Susie with the link as well. Thank you, Susie.
Hey,
Appreciate
Susie.
Ya. Good to see you. Susie's Rockstar customer support. If you ever hit up our support, might be Susie taking care of you. She's such a great part of the Greyscale Gorilla team. Thank you, Susie. And Rachel, as always, helping out, giving us this links. Do us a favor and thank the both of them, Susie and Rachel out there, helping us out here on the live show. Can't do it without you guys. All right, let's see here. I'm going to click on this one here. Toddy's got a story here. Somehow I felt good about the fact we were once at the same places and bubbles. Long life to the gorilla, one of the most important actors in CG in the last 15 years. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, it sounds like you've been in some of the same little bubbles, maybe in Chicago and Detroit as well. So that's really cool. I was on an airplane with Nick. It was probably my first NAB. If it was 2012, maybe been a few of them. Yeah, let me know. Actually, this is fun. If you've met us in NAB or at any event in the chat, let us know. Say, like, we met in Chicago or Detroit or I mean, gosh, I've been all over speaking and being at these events. MoGraph Mondays. Who's been to a MoGraph Monday? I have. We got to get you out for one of those when they start back up, Chad. They do a great job.
Is that like a Detroit only thing, or is that a thing that exists in other places too?
I might be talking out of turn. I think they expanded it into a couple other cities, maybe right before COVID.
Okay.
I know Julie ran the one in Detroit. I think it may have started to expand, but COVID kind of shut a lot of that stuff down. But as things open back up, I hope to make it out there.
When it's warm, I'll come out.
Fair enough.
I'm not driving this weather.
Sean said, that's how I met Chad, is at NAB.
Right. Yeah. I've met quite a few people that have become really good friends at events, and people that I've, become friends with, that I've mentored or that I've hired, or, just like I make it a point when I find somebody that I connect with, I stay connected. And that takes actual effort to do that. So when you find somebody that you hit it off with, really make an effort to keep that connection going, because it can last your entire life. They can become really good, close friends, as well as colleagues, mentors, mentorees. So yeah, take it from me. Like, I've met so many people that I'm really good friends with at events.
Yeah, I mean, I know I tell this story, so I'll give you the shorter version of it today, but that was me and Chad as well, right? So I was an After Effects artist at a large post house in Chicago, and interested in 3D and kind of playing around with it in After Effects, but really didn't have anybody to guide me in the right direction. I was kind of screwing around with cinema at the time and just trying to figure it out. And like I said, this is before YouTube and being able to like really learn from a lot of places. And I think within a few weeks, Chad showed up as the head 3D artist in the office, literally right next to mine, almost by accident, bumping into Chad and uh, I think you showed me your reel or maybe something you worked on at the time. It was that black abstract spinning
Mhm.
thing that you made. Do you
Mhm.
remember that one?
Yeah, I do.
And there was like this beautiful symmetry on it, and everything else up till then, when it came to 3D, was like aliens and walk cycles and stuff. That's great. I just wasn't my. It's not my vibe. And here comes Chad with his like cool skateboards on the wall and like abstract, amazing, beautiful 3D, perfectly lit with a little bit of dust on top of it, kind of vibe. And I'm like, all right, how the hell did you do that? And, it's one of my favorite questions to ask. And when people are like, "You really wanna know?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, I wanna know." And Chad starts telling me, he's like, I think you were in 3ds Max at the time,
Yeah.
and I think I remember it as you opening and finding that scene file and showing me like, "Here's the symmetry stuff I was doing," and maybe you did the symmetry and editing, but you actually broke it down for me in a way that was like, "Oh, well, shit. Okay, well, I learned something. I learned more that in that little question and answer moment than ask than in many of my classes in school because, a great artist was willing to break something down for me. And I'd like to say we became fast friends, but mostly it was me like bugging Chad while he was trying to work. Um, and we
That's
ended up
not really how it happened, but okay, yeah.
we ended up doing some little projects together. We did that little couple of animations we called
Oh my god,
CANC.
dude, I forgot about those.
That was our initials. We worked on a Puma spec project together,
Oh my
and
god, yeah.
this is the sped up story. But over the course of, gosh, so we met in 05, 06. And by the time I left Digital Kitchen in 09, you were there. You were working there
Mhm.
and had your own 3D team at Digital Kitchen, and I was learning a lot from you guys even then, like bumping
Mhm.
into you and your team and working on projects with you. And then, of course, because of these connections, because of knowing the type of person Chad was, not only was he a great artist, not only was he a great teacher and somebody that was willing to take a moment and actually help someone, and even some noob like me that was asking all the wrong questions, like sit down and really show how this stuff is made. When it came time to hire a creative director at Grayscale Gorilla, um, gosh, it was like it was a very short list, and it had Chad at the top of it. And so for me to be able to actually reach out and be like, I think there's like something really fun here. Can you bring your skills and your teaching and your ability to make beautiful stuff and help give it to the rest of the 3D community? Like, that connection would have never happened if I didn't, bump into Chad, if I didn't be an extra, maybe, running into his office a couple extra times, and just how we grew into working together. So,
And we made an effort to like, we worked together and, when you work with someone every day, you just develop that relationship. But we also like, there were times when you had left DK and we're just starting Grayscale Gorilla, and I was like busy at DK, and so like we made an effort to like stay in touch and like always catch up and see what each other were doing. I think I even like helped on a few projects at GSG early on, and that's really important. Like I think that these things take time, and it takes effort to find someone and stick with it and develop that relationship. And early on, you mentioned the two projects that we kind of collaborated on really early, and that's something that is like a lot of fun, and you can learn a lot about somebody if you find somebody that you mesh with and you have complementary skills. Then kick around an idea to like create something together. It's a great way to like learn how each other works and maybe find out a tip or trick. What I liked about working with Nick was that we both had similar tastes, but he came at it from a different perspective than me. He was coming at it more from like a traditional motion design, After Effects kind of vibe, and with a really good sense of timing. And so I knew that if we collaborated on something, that it was going to have to be something that would fit both of our styles together. And that's really kind of fun to find somebody that you really gel with and like try to find a project to do together, even if it's just like, you know, a 2-day project, something to do like that is always fun.
Yeah, and I've already seen a few people mention other relationships they've built. You know, Fried Pixels, I already put this up. It says getting to freelance at Ranger and Fox when Brett Morris was there is like a masterclass in Redshift and Cinema 4D. Like that's the kind of stuff that, you know, I'm telling you this story because it's me and Chad on the video and we've had a long relationship, but this happens all the time. But it only happens if you go to the meetup and you go into the forum or the Discord or the Slack and build these relationships over time. So it's such a huge part of anyone's story. If they really tell you the truth, it's always about some connection that people had, whether it's they hired them, whether it's they worked together, whether it's they pushed each other. Gosh, I remember back, it was my first real 3D project at Digital Kitchen when it was a really simple target animation that they wanted. It's kind of dystopia now that I think of it, but it's like they were opening their pharmacies and they wanted these little pills to come down and spell out the Target logo. And I was one of my first big real projects. It was going to be at the pharmacy, and I think it was one of the end tags on one of the commercials.
It was on the screens too, right? Wasn't that where it was going to be?
Yeah, it's like red and white pills coming down to form a Target logo from on top. It was been my last reel. If you've ever seen my 2008 creamy orange reel back in the day, I think it's still there. But anyway, I remember sending it to you, right? So our actual internal 3D team at the time, they were making like some, you know, super composited commercial, right? Like they were just busy, and I was just the kind of like motion graphics artist trying to dink around in 3D basically. But I sent it to Chad, who didn't even work with me at the time. You were still at the other post house, and I was like, "What's this thing missing?" Like it felt really good, and I had a good camera angle on it, and I had good timing on it. I was always okay with that, but I was like, something is weird about it. And you're like, "Dude, your shadows are all too black. Like like shadows never get that black, especially in a white room. Like you're in a white room with white and red. There's going to be a lot of spill." And he's like, "You got to lighten up the shadows." And he's like, "Add a little blue to the shadows too." He's like giving me these little specific details. Like he's like, "Add 5% of blue to the shadows." I'm like, the hell is 5% going to do? Really?
That sounds like the most like, that sounds so like me, like the exact number. Yeah, 5%.
5%. Yeah, not 4, not 10. And God damn it, I did it. And I was like, I lightened up the shadows, added 5% blue. I'm like, I was like mad that it worked so well, but also so like happy and excited that I had like somebody who gave a shit that I could partner with and ask a question like that too. But I don't know. I'll just never forget that moment of doing it and hitting render, because like it was literally, I didn't have to re-render it. By the way, I thought the answer to my question, like, you know, somebody else be like, turn on global illumination, do this. No, Chad goes, raise the black level and add 5% blue, and I could do that shit in After Effects. And I hit render, and it looked immediately twice as good, like immediately so much better. Yeah. And those are those relationships to start to get into and help each other out. And like Chad said, I was more into the timing, and you know, I have a history in music and all this stuff. We both have a history in music, but I loved really unique, minimal, micro timing of things, and so we would collaborate because we kind of overlapped in the right way. So find that person, you know, find those people that you vibe with, that you're willing to maybe be vulnerable a little bit with as well, and have somebody critique in a way what you're doing, because together it will be better. James,
I
5%
remember
is massive.
it can be. And I remember that
It
job, and I remember I always thought like, here's why I really wanted you to succeed there, because I saw you as like this rebel unit at that studio, because they had the Maya department that was like, oh, Maya, and you know, apologies to any Maya users out there, but you know, and Nick was there just like trying to like do something different, do it differently. And cinema was just starting to come up, and I was keeping a close eye on it, even though I still thought it was a toy at the time. But that's a different story. But, I'm watching him use this tool and trying to break into that department or get some of that work. And I knew it was going to be good, and I knew that he was going to be able to do it. And I was just so excited to like help you be that rebel unit part of that company at that time. And then when I got there, I think at that point you're only you're probably a year out from just like taking off with GSG. But yeah, man, if you would have stayed, I would have had you using 3ds Max and V-Ray and
How
eventually, or maybe it
different
would have
if
went the other way, and it would have like you would have been getting me to use cinema earlier than I did.
that would have been interesting if I would have been on your 3D team. What would have happened? I probably would have
Yeah.
pouted and used cinema like secretly.
Yeah, you probably, and at that time, I was really, anybody that knows me from that time, I was like, well, I mean, I kind of am an opinionated son of a bitch, but I was like super like, oh no, that you can't use cinema. Look at it. It just like, and listen, you have to be willing to change, and you have to be willing to see what's out there, and not pride is not going to help you in those situations. You have to look at things that change and recognize when they're better. And that's what happened throughout my career, starting in Power Animator, then Maya, a little bit of Softimage, then Max for a long time, and then cinema.
That's crazy.
And who knows what's next? Who knows?
Yeah, that's what's fun too, is when you build these relationships, that especially with somebody that pushes you or makes you think a little different. No two people are ever exactly alike. Like twins are like the same DNA. They come out literally the same, and they are not this. They don't end up the same. People are always different. So finding that person that you, like Chad said, we had similar tastes and ways of looking at things, but just enough different to kind of learn and push and hopefully make each other better. And
Yeah.
that's the best thing you can ask for when it comes to finding these types of professional relationships. And you also become actual friends in IRL, as the kids say. So well, I put a link in there if anybody wants to see my 5% blue target animation from my 2008 reel. You can click that. It's around the 40-second mark. I had to go find it for mostly so I could see it again and see how great I thought that looked in 2007.
See, I don't want to look at it. I don't want to look at it now. I don't like looking at old work just because of that. I'm always like, the memory of it is always going to be better.
Yeah, it's like watching some like bad 80s VFX or like, bad CG from back in the day. You're like, man, that was really bad. Or even worse, like basically anything from your childhood. You're like, that movie was good, right? You're like, no, it wasn't.
Oh my God,
Don't go watch that.
What's that movie with the dude from Die Hard? It's like a sci-fi movie. Bruce, what the hell's his name?
Oh,
it's like
Fifth Element.
Fifth Element, dude. When that movie came out, I was just so blown away by the 3D. I was like, oh my God, that's so great. Like the ocean scenes and all that stuff. And then I watched it like not that long ago, and I was like, oof. Didn't age as well. Didn't age as well as I remembered it to. But
it's still a killer movie. I got to tell you.
It is still a great movie. But yeah, there's always those things. And that's why I really, the worst thing in the world for me is cutting a reel. I absolutely hate making a reel, because when you're in the thick of a job and you think, oh, this actually turned out pretty good, and then you shelve it and you go back to work, and then that time of the year where or maybe every couple of years, you're going to cut a reel, and you're like looking at your old work, and you're like, Jesus Christ, I thought this was better. Like this like sucks. Like what am I going to do? So I fucking hate looking at my old stuff, dude. I hate it. Always forward.
Yeah, I had a magic trick right before I left DK, which was have an editor do my reel, because I knew if I would sit there all day and dick around with it in After Effects. So thank you all, by the way, for joining us today. I know it's not the typical Cinema 4D type of day here. But obviously we're here to celebrate the new Grayscale Gorilla Discord. It is 100% free. If you'd like to join us, we do ask that you read the rules. We have some specific rules on the type of community we're trying to build, and the tone of it, and the helpfulness, and the openness of what we're trying to build here as a company. So please check that out. But if you are an artist, if you work in a studio and you're missing a little bit of that human connection we're talking about today, you want to potentially meet new people, maybe even stay connected with people you have met at Grayscale Gorilla events or other events, please come join us at the Discord. It has been really fun to see it grow in the last week or two that it's already been open. And so we're excited to see you guys in there. We hope to do more videos, audio hangout type things in there. And we also are already seeing people help each other, just in the way we talked about today. Connections are being formed, jobs are being filled, questions are being asked and answered right within our Discord. So please come join us. Carrot says, 2 months after cutting your latest reel, you hate to look at your old one. Like immediately, right?
Yeah,
the worst.
Yeah. At least if you have an editor, I highly recommend getting somebody else to put your reel together, because then at least you're pleasantly surprised at, oh, you made that look good. That's cool. Thank you.
Yeah, Josh from Digital Kitchen did my reel, and it was the best thing I ever did, because he obviously editors have great timing, and they also approach it from, they're not so precious about it, because their job is to make something beautiful and interesting, and they understand what a reel is. And when you make it, you got to like really cut some of your favorite work maybe. And the biggest problem with any reel is it's too goddamn long. You show everything. You basically show all 30 seconds of everything. The best thing you could do is have an editor be like, nope, this is the coolest part. That's the most fun part. Huge, huge help.
Yeah.
You got a question. Do you think that pill animation inspired the Cherry 7-Up tutorial? It was my first Cinema 4D, inspired me to get it. Thank you for the question. It actually was no, it wasn't a Digital Kitchen piece, because Digital Kitchen did the Cherry 7-Up. Cherries floating around. No, they did a vanilla Dr. Pepper or something like that. What was that one that they did right before I was there? It's been a long.
What do you? The thing that inspired that thing? Wasn't it just Cherry 7-Up?
Yeah, there was an actual Cherry 7-Up animation that inspired the Cherry 7-Up tutorial.
It was like PSYOP. It was PSYOP, I think.
Yeah, that's exactly right. PSYOP did that one, but I'm also confusing it partly with the DK Dr. 7-Up. No, Doctor.
Oh, yeah.
Had the Barry White voice on it.
Ooh,
had a vanilla. Yeah.
Wasn't
vanilla?
it like Cherry Dr. Pepper?
Oh. Cherry vanilla Dr. Pepper or some shit like that.
I don't know.
It was a beautiful piece. I think Anthony worked on that one. Mm-hmm. Awesome spot. But yeah, thanks for the question. Well, look, basically, thank you guys so much for joining us for talking about community. It's not the most obvious or sometimes most sexy thing to think about when you're just trying to learn something new. You're like, do I really got to go to the meetup? Do I really go to these events and NAB and all this stuff? I would always recommend it. Like Chad said, nobody's ever walked away and be like, wow, that was a waste of my time. It's always been, man, I'm so glad I met that person. Those types of events are responsible for so many parts of my career, and meeting the people that have helped me, and also I've helped throughout the years, is going to these events. So I always highly recommend it. I'm glad we took a little time today to talk about it. And while we are working from home, many of us are maybe working from home indefinitely, which again, I think is mostly a good thing. I think artists and having some time to either be at a small office like we are, or at home, owning your time and just doing great work. I think it's a huge revolution in our industry, but make sure you're spending some time connecting with others, whether it's in our new Discord, whether it's at an event coming up. So thank you guys so much. I think we have time. Chad, you got time for a couple extra questions? We'll just do anything you guys want to talk about. We'll do a little rapid fire Q&A.
Ask away. Ask away. Ask about anything you want. Well, not anything, but
Rachel, Jacqueline get mad if we share any details.
Yeah, and she's sitting like right behind me, so she'll
Oh boy.
throw something at my head. She'll just come over and like
Uh,
turn my computer off.
can you guys add more VCs to the GSG Discord? Sika's asking.
Maybe.
Hi, Rachel. She's
It's
literally
gonna hit me in the head. So I guess maybe tell me. I guess go in there and pitch me what you want.
Awesome.
And like listen, like when I get requests on the Discord, I'm not just gonna say yes. You're gonna have to make a case, and then I might even ask that people vote. Like somebody was asking if we would put a V-Ray software channel up, and I'm like, yeah, if you get 50 thumbs up on that post, I will add it. But I don't want to just add it, and then the whole thing just becomes a mess. So I'm trying to keep it pretty clean.
Yeah, I think it's important to know it does take a lot of work to curate and build the community that we want as well. That is helpful for you guys, and part of that is making sure that we don't have 100 rooms that have 2 people in all of them. So I would say try to stay within what the room is for and what it is. But I think we might see a natural way, like, hey, people keep talking about this one thing in this room, and then once that's there, it's kind of an obvious one. So I would just say get in there, start talking, start being a part of the community, and I think we're gonna see some natural ways to go like, all right, let's segment this part off so that they could talk about whatever. So
Right.
Thanks for the question. All right, I'm seeing a few people take off because it's so late. Thank you guys for staying up late with us. Appreciate it. Demo reel. Oh, this is nice. So this might be a good one. So maybe there's a little bit of a demo reel critique here in the Discord that can happen. What I always tell people is when you post your reel, ask the question, what is the one thing you would like to see more of, and what's the one thing that you think I could just remove from this reel and it wouldn't make any impact at all. And when you ask that question, it gives people permission to be a little bit more honest about it. And every one of us can have it. You can go look at my reel. I mean, it is from 2008, so there's probably some stuff I want to remove from it. But even the day after I made it, I'm like, I should have left this piece off of it. So try to get some feedback, and maybe the Discord's a good place to do that.
I mean, I would say be careful. Like sometimes it's better to find a couple of trusted people to bounce stuff off of rather than an entirely large group, because then you don't really, it's like what's that, design by committee, you don't want that. So I recommend, if you want to share it, but find a couple of people that you really trust, that they have a good eye, and get them to give you feedback. That's always going to be more impactful.
Yeah, that's true. If you have somebody like I did with Chad to bounce something specific off of and know that you're getting really honest feedback, huge
Yeah.
for sure.
Big help.
All right.
What else we got?
I don't even know if this is possible. I think it's like built into Discord. Can we get some of the emojis and stuff turned off so the interface is a bit cleaner? Zach, that's like what the Discord's all about. The thumbs up.
Come on, man. Can we have no personality in the world?
Maybe it's the animated ones. I did notice that all the other Discords I'm a member of, they have custom like animated GIF emojis, and I could just spam them. I can put them anywhere I want. If you want like one of these dancing somethings, I'll just maybe it's that. But that's a part of the world now.
So I think you might be in. I appreciate a clean interface, but I think Zach and Dean might be in the minority on the emoji topic. But I appreciate the insight. I think that's fair.
Sean says we got to do a Discord tutorial.
Oh boy!
Honestly, that's not a bad idea.
I had to show you where the inbox was.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I've already asked my new Discord questions for sure. I always accidentally click on the damn like audio room too, and then I'm in there like, hello? Am I by myself in the audio room?
That's the most, like, I will say that sucks. Like, I hate that because I'll do that. I'll accidentally click on it. I'll be like, what's happening to my audio right now? I'm like, I'm talking in some room that I didn't even know I was in. I'm like, they really got to like warn you a little bit better.
We just got to like record that room for all the accidental like what the fuck
I know,
what's
like I'm
happening?
accidentally like giving away our entire product catalog for the year.
All right, we have a suggestion for the what's coming next to plus section on the website or Discord.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I think there is some stuff coming up soon, and we've even talked internally a little bit about opening up our beta a little bit as well, and making something that might feel a little bit more like an open public beta or something like that is interesting. That essentially, as we're putting the last little tweaks on things and testing it, we may use a little help as well. So there might be a case to say like, hey, if you're willing to click the it's not quite done yet box and maybe get a little early access or be able to try some of the new stuff we're brewing here at Grayscale Gorilla, there's something kind of interesting there. So that's just that there's nothing official there, but I think there's something interesting to what you said of like, how do we get the word out about what's coming, without spoiling the surprise a little bit and without promising any dates, because it's hard. We want to make sure stuff's bulletproof for you guys if you're going to use it in production. So we take it very seriously and test our stuff and make sure that we don't just throw it on your hard drive. We want to make sure it's working. So it's hard to make promises about certain dates, but I think there's something interesting there we could think about.
Well, Nick, close your ears for a second.
Oh,
A Plus members, how you doing? Check our Discord. There might be a channel that might pop up at some point. A little sneak peek channel for our Plus members. Just don't tell that. Don't tell that guy, and don't tell Rachel.
You just block us out of it. Everyone else is blocked. It's just Chad and all the members.
I'm gonna make
Chad's
that happen. Check
"Hey,
this
guys,
out. You're gonna love this. Oh my god.
you want to see what's on my computer? Come on in." It's Rachel yelling at you.
She's laughing.
No.
I think the lag is like.
For Nick, any more to report on your M1 Mac? I'm using a Mac Mini with 16 gigs of RAM, always running out of memory in Redshift. Yeah, so I have two M1 systems. One is the Mac iMac, my lovely orange iMac that I'm using right now, that I use with Parsec and my Puget machine to do most of my Octane and all the big heavy duty work. Then I also got the laptop, which was the M1 Max, and the extra RAM does help. I don't do a ton of scenes, as my style, that has like a million textures and all this super crazy high polygon stuff that you need a lot of extra RAM. So I actually get away even with the M1 and 16 gigs of RAM and all that stuff. However, the laptop with, I think it's 32 gigs of RAM. It's whatever the maxed out version of the M1 Max you can get. Definitely is faster, not only just in general, but the extra RAM does help out with those tasks. So I haven't bumped into it, but I could see people with slightly more detail in their scenes bumping into a 16 gig issue there. Thanks for the question, and hope to give you more. Oh, I clicked on the same one. Sorry, guys. All right, here. Let's see here. See if we got a couple last minute questions here, and then we'll take off. We'll see you in the Discord. We will see you in the Discord. By the way, we have an official Discord live show that I don't know is quite out and scheduled and planned, but I think there's actually something that we have planned for next week in the Discord that is going to be only for Discord members. So you know what? We don't have to spell it out. Look for a date, because I'm sure we're working on it internally, but look for something for next week where we're going to do a similar live show like this, but only on our Discord. So it's a good reason to be on there. All right, here. Post the tutorial on Discord about the Discord tutorial. Woo.
Meta.
I don't know. This one, it's kind of there's always a 4-step process and a password reset every time I log into Discord. Is it just you? That might be you, David. You may want to check.
It's not me.
I haven't had that issue. If you guys have had that issue in the chat, let David know But it's always just seemed to work for me. Let's grab a few more questions. And scrolling down here. Yeah, there's so many. Yeah, there's so many there. Oh, awesome. Rachel, thanks for the link to the Intro to Cinema 4D. All right, here's one. Chad, I know you know the answer to this one. What does random walk mean? I heard you guys talk about it on previous episodes.
It's like a regular walk, but just kind of more random. No, sorry, that was terrible.
I nailed it.
It's just it's a white paper, I think, is really originally what it came from, and you should Google it because I'm not going to be able to explain the technicalities or the technical aspects of it. But what you need to know is that it's an extremely realistic approach to subsurface scattering. So most non-random walk subsurface scattering feels kind of just like a foggy volume object. It doesn't really have that like intangible sort of like real quality to it. And random walk, again, I am not going to attempt to explain the science behind it. Google it for sure. It's so much more realistic. It just looks gorgeous. It gives you that like, it's like night and day. When you see something that was done, like let's say, I don't know, a piece of fruit or something, and it's done with like traditional subsurface and redshift or something, it just like kind of doesn't look quite right, and you're not really sure why. And then you see the same thing rendered in either Arnold or Octane with random walk, and you're like, whoa, like that just like, yeah, something about that looks real. So yeah, it's basically like ultra realistic subsurface, and it's, again, Google it. I'm sure Rachel or somebody could even find the white paper that explains how it works. But if you're an artist like me, you're just like, you just care that it looks real. Like that's all I care. That's all I cared
about. Rob, thank you for the question. I'm gonna click on this one as well. Some new materials coming up. Denny, the answer is yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Definitely yes. Rachel says another secret. Discord stream is February 3rd.
Oh, we got to get that in the events over there.
I thought you had a date. Yeah, we'll get that set up, and we'll also. So I think Discord will let you set an event, right, and kind of remind people and all that kind of stuff.
Yep, we got to do that. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, the answer is always we're working on new stuff for Plus, honestly. And yeah, we have a lot of stuff planned for this year, and we're really, as always, excited to get this stuff out to you guys. So yeah, I wish I could say more, Denny, but I can't. All right. Let's see here. Zach, see ya. This looks like Zach took off. Appreciate it. Any plans for beginner tutorials with the new Cinema 4D UI? Yeah, that's tricky, right? Like our intro to Cinema 4D, which is still, by the way, really helpful and usable if you're just getting started. I would even say go get like the demo copy of Cinema, go watch the intro to Cinema 4D, get familiar with the basics. And then I would just add, and maybe we actually go do this to the training. Anytime it's not in the same menu, because new versions of Cinema 4D have different, like all the menus have changed, all the icons have changed. Be ready to just Shift C everything. It's all still there. It's all mostly named the same thing, but use Shift C to just kind of, search it and find it. I would recommend if you're looking for that, to do that. And then go watch something like Andy's, what's new in R25 to kind of then learn the interface. But you should be able to learn the basics even on some older training, like our intro to Cinema 4D. Go check that one out.
Maxon is doing some really good videos on YouTube. They've been putting out quite a few videos of beginner stuff, and so I highly recommend going to their channel, subscribing, and just, yeah, they're putting out stuff all the time, streams and stuff as well.
Yep. Yeah, they've been killing it. Jackie says, I don't even click anything anymore. I just use Shift C and type it in. Me too. Me too. It works, especially. I don't know if it's just the way that I set everything up, but the interface by the time I get through my PC and using it, so many icons are teeny, which I love the screen real estate. I love having all this extra real estate to render and do all this stuff. But so many of the, especially with a Wacom tablet, clicking exactly all the time exactly where I want it can be a little fussy. So I just Shift C everything now. It's like Shift C, enter, Shift C, enter, Shift C, Alt, enter. Like learn those keyboard commands, and now I'm like flying through setting up scenes. Rachel, thank you for that. Yeah, definitely follow Maxon on YouTube. They've really been stepping up their training on their own software. It's been really good. Some awesome trainers over there as well, helping them out. All right, let's do one or two more questions and go. I'm excited. Side note, my wife wants to watch Terminator. She's never seen it. She keeps hearing about it, and I'm like, I think today's the day.
She keeps hearing about it. I mean, for the past 30 years.
Yeah. It's like one of those things. She like every year she's like, should we watch Terminator? I'm like, it's a good movie. And then we get to watch 2, which is even better.
Oh my
and then
God,
we
2.
just always forget about it, and then we don't talk about it. And then a year later, it's like, but I think this might be the night. And I think
that's so crazy. She hasn't seen it.
She's gonna watch Terminator. And then we get the part 2, which was, one of the major, that and Jurassic Park were like the 2 movies that got me geeked about, special effects,
dude, Terminator
working on
2.
computers. Oh,
Terminator 2, that whole like chrome dude. That was cool. Still holds
up. Let's see here. Do you guys have any insights on the next C4D release? What can we expect? We don't have any insider info, especially that we could share. They're always add new stuff, so I would go check with them. Let's see here. Question is, let's see. I don't know this one. Lumen. The question is,
Lumion.
What's the future 3D game animation? Lumion, is that how you say it? Can replace Cinema 4D in the future? Do you know about this? Chad, have you played with it?
I know No, I've only heard about it, but no, I don't think it will. I don't think anything is going to replace anything. I think it's all just going to be more tools. So I don't believe in a world where something has to take over something else, because this industry is just growing like mad. So I think there's room for lots of different 3D programs. And so anybody that's like, oh, what's going to happen? Is this going to go away or going to kill this? It's like, no, like everything just kind of evolves, and there's plenty of room in the 3D industry for multiple programs, multiple renderers, multiple everything.
Yeah, that's a good point. If you look at any technology, it's pretty rare that it 100% displaces stuff. And even when it does, the transition is so long, right? I know we're moving in a fast industry, but I think you're right. The days of using one piece of 3D technology is numbered. Even Maxon themselves obviously know this. They're buying pieces of the puzzle so that you have access to the sculpting with ZBrush and all, the VFX tools with Red Giant and all the other pieces of the puzzle you need to do a job. They know that you can't just do it all with just Cinema 4D. They got Redshift. They saw that third-party rendering was a part of it. So even that company knows that it's not just one piece of software that we all need to know. A lot of us are playing in Houdini, right? Like that Houdini had the whole push then, and of course now Blender's popping up as a way to learn something new and be a part of just add another tool to your tool belt. Like that's
Yep.
really how this is moving forward, and not just one thing to rule them all. All right, let's see here. I still write notes with a chisel. Perfect. See? You gotta keep some things analog, Jonas. That's okay.
Dude, it's heavy carrying that in your backpack.
All right, let's see here. All right, I think we did it. Chad, thank you so much. Chat. See how I added the T real tough.
Yeah, you gotta enunciate.
Thank you for joining as well. It is always good to see you. I'll hide the chat. We'll wrap this thing up. Thank you as always. If you join late, it does help us out if you give us the thumbs up on the YouTubes. If you're watching on Twitch and Facebook, we also appreciate you and your questions. Look for a live show on February 3rd over at our Discord channel. We'll throw one more link up there if Rachel's watching. Please come join us in the Discord channel. If you are working as a 3D artist and you want to meet and mingle and help and be a part of a community with other 3D artists, or you're an aspiring 3D artist and you want to be a part of a community where people focus on the work, people focus on working faster, people focus on the business side of this as well, which we talk a lot about, how to get clients. People are posting jobs even in the Discord. Please come join our Discord. We'd love to see you in there. Always, in fact, I'm gonna go head into the Discord and say hi right now. That's what I'm gonna go do right at the end of this video.
Yes, let's do that.
And then we'll see you guys in the Discord on one of these live shows. I think we'll do one of like a hangout, or what do they call it, Chad? It's like a little audio hangout thing.
Well, we're calling it I think member clubhouse or member, I think it's called GSG Clubhouse, but we might rename it because Clubhouse is kind of not really do people still use Clubhouse? I don't even know.
That's like the audio thing. I feel like Twitter Spaces kind of tried to kill Clubhouse. I definitely haven't jumped on it as much as I used to because the Twitter thing is there, and now the Discord thing. So
yep.
Hope to see you in there. And it's already been really great to see artists just like you helping other artists, answering questions. And like we talked about today, you might meet somebody in there that you will have a lifelong friendship, a work friendship, a coworker, somebody that you can partner with or hire or work with. And then when you are at the physical event, somebody you can finally put a face with the name and build a long-lasting relationship with, which honestly is a huge part of everyone's story that I talk to. It is very rare to meet someone that is a successful artist and say, yeah, I just, worked in my room until I got really good and then I got hired. It's almost never that story. It always has something to do with meeting people and being a part of it. So I hope to see you guys in the Discord and at the physical events as we ramp into that stuff. And at another live show really soon. Thank you guys so much for coming. Chad, hope you have a good night. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.